How much dividends did I receive for the whole of 2025, and how much will I have to pay the taxman's claw? But what's happening here? This month the claw seems to be undergoing some kind of metamorphosis. It looks like I'm about to get a visit from the claw who stole Christmas. In this video, I'll reveal my yearly total from both share dividends and premium bond prizes. And if you stay to the end, I'll reveal everything I've been buying and selling recently. And yes, I've actually sold something. More about that later. First, let's look at what I received for the month of December. This is not investment advice, and I'm just showing you my own journey. On the 18th, I received a cash reward from HSBC. The shares are up an incredible 41% this year, and they also pay a very tasty 4.5% dividends, spread over 4 payments a year. Capital growth plus dividends, that's what I personally like to see. I find dividend payments incredibly motivating, and it has kept me excited about investing for almost 17 years. This screen shows the dividend history in pence per share. The banking sector can be a bit of a roller coaster ride, but since 2020, HSBC has been raising its dividend each year. This month, HSBC paid out a total of £135. If you want to know how much I hold in each company shown in this video, then I've listed the totals in the video description. On the 3rd of December, it was the turn of BAE Systems to pay out. The share price has also risen very strongly, up over 43% this year. The company pays out twice a year, which is typical of most UK listed companies. The yield is 2.1%, which is below average. However, as you can see here, BAE Systems has a great track record of raising that dividend year after year. This month, BAE Systems paid out a total of £165. If you enjoy these videos and want me to make more, then please give that like button a quick tap, as it really helps out the channel. On the 24th, my S&P 500 ETF paid out some cash. This ETF gives me exposure to the largest listed companies in the US all in one share. Here are just a few that you would own. The ongoing charge is tiny at just 0.07%. The price of this ETF is up 5.9% at the time of this video. It's a quarterly payer, and the annual dividend yield is 1%. Quite a small yield, but on the flip side, I should hopefully get decent long-term capital growth. This month, IUSA paid out a total of £175. Towards the end of the month, Imperial Brands pays out. The shares are up over 22% for the year, and not only that, but the dividend is high at 5% spread over 4 payments. Here is the dividend history. There was a dip in 2020, but since then it's been rising steadily. This month, Imperial Brands paid out a total of £185. On the 26th, I received a payment from my FTSE 100 ETF. This one has a ticker code ISF and gives me exposure to the largest UK listed companies all in one share. Sometimes when I can't see any individual UK bargains, I'll simply add more to this one. The share price is up 17.6% this year, and the yield is 3.1% spread over 4 payments. And here is the dividend history going back all the way to 2012. This month, ISF paid out a total of £190. On the 5th, it was the turn of Unilever to pay some dividends to their shareholders. Unilever has recently spun off their ice cream division as a standalone business, and I've therefore received new shares in the Magnum ice cream company. This of course means that as a consequence of this split, I now own fewer Unilever shares. If you stay to the end of the video, I will explain what I've done with those new Magnum shares and why. The Unilever share price is down a touch this year. It's another quarterly dividend payer. The annual yield is 3.6%, which is about average for a FTSE 100 company. After many years of growth, the dividend appears to have stabilised. Will spinning off Magnum improve Unilever's prospects? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. This month, Unilever paid out a total of £345. On the 22nd, I received an envelope of cash from the oil giant Shell. The shares are up 3% this year, which is nothing to shout about, but the dividend is decent at 4.1% spread over 4 payments. You can see here that the dividends have been growing nicely over the last few years. This month, Shell paid out a total of £335. If you want to make a financial New Year's resolution and get started on your own dividend journey, then Trading 212 will help start you off with a free fractional share worth up to £100. Just click on my link in the video description and let the fun begin. On the 19th, I received a rather large Christmas present from BP. The shares are up 4.2% this year and the dividend is higher than Shell at 5.8%. Dividend history has fluctuated somewhat and the oil sector can be quite volatile over the long term. Despite this, BP paid out a total dividend of £430. Also in December, the Guinness producer Diageo paid out a big Christmas bonus to their shareholders. The shares, however, are having a terrible time and are down a whopping 34% this year. The dividend is 4.8% spread over 2 payments a year. Dividend history has shown a long upward trend, but the company is going through a tough period. And whether these dividends can be sustained, we will have to wait and see. I'm happy to hold for the long term. This month, Diageo paid out a total of £460. Towards the end of the month, all 3 of my world ETFs pay out their dividends. The first is VWRL, and this one is like owning the whole world in just one share. Here are the largest companies you would have exposure to. There are over 3,600 of them for great diversification and reduced risk. The fees are now lower than they used to be and are just 0.19%. At the time of this video, the shares are up nearly 10%. The yield is low at 1.4%, but this will hopefully be compensated for by good long-term growth in the share price. This month, VWRL paid out a total of £35. My second world ETF to pay out was VHYL, which is similar to VWRL, but this one focuses on companies paying higher dividends. The ongoing charge is 0.29%. The shares are up 12.6% this year and the yield is 3% spread over 4 payments. This screen shows the historical dividends since 2013. This month, VHYL paid out a total of £60. Also paying out was my final ETF, VEVE. This one is similar to VWRL but focuses on companies from the developed world. The ongoing charge is 0.12%. The price is up nearly 10% and the yield is 1.4% spread over 4 payments a year. This month, VEVE paid out a total of £55. Now you may be thinking that I've got quite a lot of overlap with my ETFs, but I'm okay with that for the time being, but may consolidate a bit next April when I do my annual portfolio spring cleaning. And now onto the monthly premium bond draw. The prize rate is currently 3.6%. There is 1 draw a month and you have easy access to your money. There is a chance of winning £1 million each month and all winnings are tax-free. First, the big winners for December. The first £1 million winner was based in Norwich and held £35,000 in bonds, which were bought as one large block in August 24. The second jackpot winner was from Cornwall and had a holding of £20,000 and also purchased the bonds in one large block in February 2025. So £20,000 invested in premium bonds for under a year won the £1 million top prize. Not bad at all. No £1 million for me this month, but I did at least manage to win 4 prizes totalling £225. The bar on the left shows what I would have expected to win this year with average luck and £50,000 invested. The bar on the right shows what I've actually won. So for the second year running, I've underperformed the expected return. This screen shows all my monthly prize totals for 2025. The best month was in October with £275 and the worst was August when I won nothing at all. Although the current prize rate is 3.6%, the mean prize rate for 2025 was 3.7%, and my return was 3.1%, but I don't really mind as I only use premium bonds as my emergency fund, kept out of the market on purpose, so hopefully I never have to sell my shares and can allow them to compound over time. So my total passive income for the month was £2,795. And here comes my worst nightmare. The taxman's claw is back to grab some of my Christmas dividends. How much will I have to pay him this month? I try to shield as much of my investments as I can from tax using a stocks and shares ISA, but I can't fit everything inside. All of my IUSA, VWRL and some of my VEVE ETFs are kept outside the ISA, and I'm going to have to pay dividend tax at my marginal rate on those. Perhaps I can tempt Mr. Claw with some tasty mince pies instead. Mr. Kipling, Oh, well, there's no need for that. Well, it looks like only cold hard cash will make the Claw go away. Yeah, you're not making any friends round here, you know. I ended up having to pay the Claw £80 in total. And there he goes, back to his lair with my money. I've a feeling he'll be back to torment me very soon. And now for my overall passive income summary. The green bars on this graph show my monthly passive income from last year, and the blue bars are for this year. All figures are after tax, so you can see how much money I actually get to keep. March, June, September and December are usually the best months for dividends because my ETFs all pay out at these times, as do most of my quarterly dividend companies. Now let's compare the totals for the last 2 years. This bar shows my gross passive income from last year, and here is my gross passive income this year. For transparency, this bar shows my passive income after tax for last year, and the final bar is for this year. The total passive income after tax for 2025 is £20,298. £18,798 came from share dividends, and £1,500 came from premium bond prizes. The average dividend yield for the FTSE 100 is 3.2%, and my own portfolio is currently yielding 2.8%. But as I've been investing for so long and companies generally raise their dividends over time, my yield on cost is now 6.2%. I'm now receiving an average of £1,561 per month after tax in share dividends. And as this is the last month of the year, we can add the 2025 bar to the graph, which shows my average monthly dividends from shares since I started my journey in 2009. On top of my dividends, there is also capital growth, and I discuss all of that in my portfolio updates, which I release every quarter. Make sure you subscribe for that one. I'm now going to discuss what shares I've been buying and selling over the last month. Firstly, the purchases, and I'm continuing to increase my holding in Legal & General, so I've used some dividend money this month to buy some more. The share price is up over 10% this year, and the dividend yield is very high at 8.4%. Normally I would not consider buying companies with such a high yield as this, but I'm going to make an exception with Legal & General. The company has an excellent track record of growing that dividend. Nothing in the stock market is guaranteed, of course, including future dividends. And what about the sales? I very rarely sell as I'm a buy and hold long-term investor, but I've made a decision to sell all of my newly acquired Magnum ice cream shares, which were spun off from Unilever. Firstly, the main listing is overseas, and I've never actually held any individual overseas shares before. Secondly, they are not planning to pay a dividend until 2027. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my decision to offload Magnum shares. Now, as I've already mentioned, as well as passive income, there is also capital growth, and if you want to know how that's been progressing and how long it might take me to grow my portfolio to £1 million, then click this video here. I'd like to wish everyone a great 2026. See you next time, and happy investing.